Welcome everyone. Dr. Stephen Hobbs here with the International Mentoring Community. And I have Doug Lawrence with me, and we form the starting group that got IMC up and moving forward. And I'm going to have Doug introduce himself a little bit more in his position. I'll do the same thing. But I also want to just give you a bit of an agenda for this video. What we're going to do is sort of put a flag in the ground today and make some announcements about what is happening from this point forward. And this point being, this is September 1st, 2021. And we wanted to just bring to your attention what we're going to be getting up to from Doug's business, my business, and then the two of us working together on IMC, and how we really would like to invite you, the listener, the viewer, into the IMC, because it is the International Mentoring Community, and we're looking to grow community, a community of practice, a community of Significare, and I'll explain a little bit more about that in a few minutes. And I think it's helpful here, Doug, if you wouldn't mind just explaining your role in IMC and who's Talent C, because that is your business.
So I'm a recognized education provider with the International Mentoring Community, and as you have already mentioned, one of the co-founders of IMC, or the International Mentoring Community. I also, as you have mentioned, I also have my own company called Talent C, with a focus on the practice of mentoring. So we're very much into the understanding the knowledge that's required to be a mentor, and then being able to put that into the practical sense or a practical application of mentoring based on that. And so, yeah, so that would be me.
And you serve in the capacity as Director of Education and Outreach, in a sense. And
right.
Talent C being a recognized education provider, you do run courses that are linked to IMC, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that as well. So let me just position myself. As you probably have figured out, I am a co-founder, and I have Wealth Movement, W-E-L-L-T-H, Movement. The story that I'm looking at is legacy and how you live from your legacy. And I'm looking at how might those who are 55 plus years young, who are verging on elder, and I'll just sort of in a general way, elder mentor. How might you, as you become an elder, learn about the tools and techniques, concepts and practices of mentoring, and use it in either a paid or a free capacity? Family and friends, might be linked back to your work. It might be in a recreational activity that you enjoy. And therefore, how do we weave mentoring into your legacy story? That's where I'm going. So in my capacity with IMC, I am the Director of Certification. And that's where I do the audits and verification. This is the way that when you come to get your certificate from IMC, it's like I'm doing the process so that you can say an external body, IMC, has recognized, giving you a certificate that you can then use. Maybe you want it for marketing, or maybe you just want it for your own self-awareness. You have the, you can make a statement, you have a certification from an external reviewed body. So that's my capacity. So Doug and I work back and forth in IMC, bringing our own organizations, but then working with this community. And I want to strengthen the word community with you. Community, if you actually look at the word, is the level of commonness that unifies us together. That's what community means. And in our case, it's about mentoring, to be a mentor, mentorship, which is sort of the state and quality of this world of mentoring, and bringing that alive for you, all right? And I think it would be important that, Doug, maybe you just explain a little bit more about what are some of the mentoring resources that you are bringing forward so people can understand from a Talent C perspective if they want to have touch base with you. I'll do the same thing with wealth movement.
Well, I think that certainly the resources and that from the practical application of mentoring concepts and processes and those things, the lived experience that I have, I share quite readily with the people that, that I'm spending time with in a mentoring relationship. But I like to point people back towards the library that we've created in IMC as a resource that people can tap into, and for that matter can also, as their experiences continue to grow, they also can come back through me and sort of say, have you thought about this as a possible resource or whatever? And so those are some things. That's why we call this a community.
And you have written one book already, and you have a second book coming out on mentoring, true?
That's true, yes. The Gift of Mentoring was published in 2014, and You Are Not Alone, which is the title of my second book, will be published in January of this coming year.
Yeah, that's always a joyful time is, well, that book's done, it's out, let's get her going. So, and I can appreciate that as well. Also, you as Talent C, as a recognized education provider, I believe that you're going to organize courses now, like 2-month courses. Can you just share a little bit about what that might be, when that might be happening?
So the target date at this stage for us to offer, so under the Talent C umbrella, to be able to offer training courses will begin in February of next year, so 2022.
Okay. All right. And what is it, like 8 weeks or something like that? Is that, you talked to me a little bit about it, but maybe you can just talk a little bit more here.
Yeah, it's broken down. It's based on, the course itself is based on the modules that we have in place today for the profile for the certificate of competence mentor. And what that basically means is we're going to break those modules down into learning modules to be able to deliver that training to whoever the participants are that wish to take the training. That's going to, number one, give you a sense of whether or not mentoring is for you, is number one. And number two, it's going to also give you a sense of, if I want to pursue or continue to pursue the certification process, here are some of the things I need to know in order to be able to go through the verification process.
Okay. So for myself, from a wealth movement point of view, I have published books on mentoring and workplace educator, and those resources will be available as well. One of the courses, online courses I'm going to create is the 5 C's of coaching and mentoring. And it's the notion of, let's just consider what they are, how they might compare, how they might compete, how they might converge, how they might collaborate, and have that available so it answers a lot of questions that people have around that. And I will be producing lots of other courses out of the wealth movement side that link to mentoring as well, because this elder mentor story that I'm going to be promoting. So from a Talent C and wealth movement point of view, there's going to be crossing over. Just like if you have a mentoring program that you have, let's see what we can do to weave it all together, because again, I'm going to strengthen, this is a community that we're attempting to create. Now, I mentioned earlier community of practice. I think that makes sense, mentoring to mentor. I also mentioned a community of Significare, and it's about significant caring. And how might we get to a point where this magic of mentoring, and I understand there's that manual aspect of mentoring as you're learning it, but getting to the point of this magic of mentoring is that You're doing it because it just is within you, coming out into the world. Doug and I talk about this all the time. Doug is great at this from a practitioner point of view, because sometimes I stump him and he'd go, you know, I don't really know, how did I get there, right? And then we have to track it back and have some fun with that. And we're going to be bringing that forward as well, that significant caring, the magic of mentoring, which helps Doug out, because one of the areas that Doug's also keenly involved with is mental health. So how does mentoring and mental health go together? So when you get to interact with Doug, you'll be able to really take a look at that connection. I think you're probably gathering mine is a little bit more around the elder, and I will use other words like celebrant and weaver. All right, and how might you as an elder become a mentor, celebrant, weaver, and bringing that out into your world. I also play a little bit with grandparents and nature and grandkids, so you'll be able to sort of get a couple of different ways to bring the story of mentoring out. And again, it's community, so we'll learn from you. And Doug mentioned about the library, so that's available as well. And as you get more involved with us, and we'll be shooting other videos that explain more about what does it mean to audit for certification and verify for certification. But today's call was really more just giving you an update. September 1st, 2021, we wanted to give you a sense where we might be going, inviting you to get involved. But I do know that before we sort of go into a close mode here, all right, Doug also answers questions on Quora. And what happens is that people ask a mentoring related question, and what, for about the past year, 2 years, year and a half?
It's probably been 2 years, I would think now, yeah.
Just about every Quora question that has the word mentoring in it, Doug has provided a response, okay, which I think is great. And I've encouraged him to, you know, create a book about those, because those are wonderful little tidbits, tips that we can use. And I'll let him get this current book finished.
Thank you.
before we do anything else. And is there a Quora question that just came through in the last little bit that you may want to just say, okay, this was the question and this was my response?
Certainly. One of the questions that, and this is kind of a repeat question, is how do you find good mentors? And so that's one, like I said, that's one that I get fairly frequently. And so I've responded back to a number of people by suggesting to them that they can do a search on the internet and, you know, search for good mentors, or if they're working in a specific genre, they can, and I'll give you an example, engineering as an example. If they're an engineer, or they're going through university to become an engineer and all of those things, those organizations like that have an association. And typically what you find in that association is that they have a mentorship program that they have. One of the ones that off the top of my head that I know is here in Saskatchewan, and it's actually part of the larger group, but it's the Canadian Information Processing Society, which is a body of IT professionals, so people that are involved in information technology. They have a mentorship program in place. And so if you go to that body, you're going to be able to find mentors that might be able to work with you and stuff. And there's lots of other places as well. Like if you go to some of the software solution providers, typically a lot of them will have a database of mentors and mentees, and you can go in and be able to find a mentor for yourself in those particular situations. But the big thing is, don't be afraid to put it out there. Throw it out there and say, I'm looking for a mentor. Can somebody give me some guidance on where I can go with more specifics than what I'm sharing at this particular stage?
Yeah. And to be clear from an IMC point of view is what we're doing is we're doing the certification of people who are mentoring, not about do they have understanding of the domain of knowledge and practices like engineering or nursing or anything. It's more about the use of mentoring as a way in which to guide people on their ride. That's one of the phrases I use. A tip that I might give to those of you who are listening in from a LinkedIn perspective, I would encourage you to use the hashtag mentoring or mentor. And what you'll do is you'll get notifications of when people are posting about mentoring. And sometimes you might find a really great tip in there. Someone might even be saying they're looking for a mentor, or someone is just asking a question, and you might be able to engage with that. And that's great because you educate what you love to learn. So if you want to become a mentor and use mentoring, then just love to learn about it and get involved with it. And obviously return to this YouTube channel to pick up more information about mentoring. Doug and I will be doing long videos and short videos. And so some of the short videos would be is to just answer a question or to give maybe a little rant or an opinion piece, all right? I know one that Doug will probably come forward with is the use of the term reverse mentoring. And what does that mean and not mean, and how do we deal with it? And there are times when I'm going to maybe do a little opinion piece on don't start mixing coaching and mentoring and all that in your practice without declaring which you're using. And I get people come back and do little bites at me going, oh, no, you don't have to do that. I'm going, I believe you do. And I'll explain why. So again, you'll be able to do that. And again, if you want to get a hold of us, and you can use the contact page on internationalmentoringcommunity.com/contact, then you can get a hold of us. And maybe you want to do a video with us, or you want to be interviewed or something. Let's see what we can do, because on Wednesday mornings, all right, Mountain Time, so that would be daylight or standard time, depending on where we are in the season, at 10 a.m. on Mountain Time on Wednesdays, the first and third Wednesdays of the month, all right, you'll see us. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually go YouTube Live, and we might end up, over on Facebook, and as in the same presentation, we have presence there. So as you get to know us, stay with this YouTube channel, come into the videos, then you can learn all about when we're doing what. But the first and third Wednesdays of a month at 10 a.m., Doug or I or both, and maybe more, will be here to do a live broadcast. And that's our intention. And let's see what actually happens. So Doug, in terms of moving towards close from a first announcement sharing, is there anything you want to emphasize or anything you want to share off before I close off the video?
No, I think what we've done is we've talked about the Talency and the course that we're going to be doing in February, and the fact that my second book will be coming out in January of next year. So that part's good. And then just the whole aspect of the Quora responses. And if people have questions, that's a place they can go to search for potential, for answers to their questions, or they can pose a question themselves on the Quora site, or they can come through our contact page and send something direct, to us, and you've already provided that. So that would be from my perspective.
That's great. And you can also put it with one of the videos here on YouTube, right, in the comment section. So we're always encouraging, to have you subscribe to our channel, like, and comment on the videos, and make sure you hit that bell, because then you get notification of when the new videos come out. Again, we're going to be going live on that first and third Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Mountain. And we will be doing long and short videos in between, and they'll be up for you to learn a little bit more about mentoring. And at any time, if we can be of assistance, not only about a question about mentoring, but your involvement with IMC and the certification process, come back here, learn more. But a contact page is always available to you. And with that, I'm going to close off. And again, oh, sorry, there is one other thing I would mention is look up Talent C on YouTube, subscribe and ring the bell, and look up Wealth Learning TV so that you can follow what Doug's doing and what I'm doing from a mentoring point of view as well, and our use of those terms, and of course here at IMC. And I guess Doug, you know what, I'm going to actually just strengthen this again. Community is about the level of commonness that unifies us together. And in our story, it's about mentoring. It's about the community of practice of mentoring. And it's about the community of significant caring that surrounds mentoring. So the practice has that sort of formal approach. When we get into the community of Significare, it's sort of a little bit more like the magic of mentoring. It just becomes second nature to you in what you want to do. And therein is a great reason why you want to talk to Doug. Get him on your podcast if you have a podcast, set up a time to meet with him, actually get some mentoring from him about mentoring. And I think that you will find that magic will really start to come forward in your lives. So with that, I'm going to close off and wish everyone a great time. And as they say, leave only footprints, but make sure you touch the heart of another through the words that they use. With that, take care.